Thank you for coming, Alan.
Thank you for having me. Having a good time here in Seattle for sure.
Yeah, you were just telling me you didn't experience no rain until today. Look, been here for
I
some
told
weeks.
people in New York I was coming to Seattle. They said bring all the umbrellas. So I was ready. I've been here for about 5 or 6 weeks. Today is the first day I've seen a drop of rain. So
See,
I've been out on the Sound. I went to Bainbridge Island, up in the Space Needle, just on a boat, on a ferry, just the whole thing. It's been
look,
awesome.
experiencing all the brilliance that
All the
Seattle has to
things,
give.
yes.
Well, I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you're enjoying your time here. And, I was just saying this as y'all were catching me here, that, Rachel is always so gracious to make sure guests come by here, the Black Media Matter Studios, to tell us about the shows going on. And I got to say that, for me, I'm like, I love a good show. So this is one show in the whole lineup that I'm missing. I can't believe it. So you got to tell me all about it. What is we know that, this is about, the Griswolds. We have, known them and gotten to love them in film. Tell us a bit about how the adaptation to the play is working for you in this particular production.
So for whatever reason in my little Broadway career, I've done a lot of musicals that are based on movies. So this is the first one where they've taken the property that we all know, the Griswolds, Clark and Ellen Griswold, right? But the story is original. So this is not a retelling of one of their movies. This is an original story with characters that we already know and love. So the movies are like Vacation, there was European Vacation, there was Christmas Vacation, and there was Vegas Vacation. And it's really kind of shocking that they didn't make it to New York. But in this version, it's a Broadway New York Vacation, the Griswolds Broadway Vacation. So the family comes to New York, the Big Apple, and of course, just calamity and lampooning happens all over the place. So they come to Times Square, and we have this whole section of Times Square characters that are like one off of the Times Square characters. So like we got Blackish Panther, right?
Oh, right.
Or the Explorer, this whole thing. And so I play a character based on the Naked Cowboy, the dude that is in his whitey tighties with the guitar, right? So he's the Naked Cowboy. I'm playing the Naked Commando.
Oh, wow.
So I start out in military fatigue, and then it gets ripped off of me, and I'm on stage in a camo Speedo. Okay. And people pay $5 to take a picture with me and all of the different characters. And then it turns out that Ellen Griswold was the girl that got away. We went to high school together. Mm-hmm. So I spend the whole show trying to get her to go out on that fifth date with me.
Oh my gosh.
And she's up in New York City with her husband, who of course is running around. He got tickets to the hot show that is in our story. It's called Wilson, but then turns out his tickets are fake. So he's spending their whole vacation trying to get legit tickets because his wife is like really excited to be there to see the show, to even potentially like help rekindle their marriage and their relationship. Like he's trying to do something for her. And then he's got, he lost his job, but he didn't tell his family. And I'm out here, oiled up in a camo Speedo, trying to get this girl to go on a date with me.
Oh my God. No. Okay. The minute you mention the Griswolds, right? I mean, I think, okay, it's going to be some type of shenanigans. That's I think everybody does, because we know this family to be the ones that showcase all of the different things that could go wrong on any vacation, right? And throughout the movies, we really got accustomed to that, right? It's a full-on comedy. And that was my thing, was how do you embrace that and all the weirdness that we see in the movies on stage? How do you feel that the audience is, responding to the amazing show you guys are doing?
Yeah, people are loving it. People are just cracking up. I've been a part of several shows that have made it to Broadway, and this is a pre-Broadway production. So the idea is that, in some months or in a year from now, the show will be on Broadway, but you see it here first in Seattle at the Fifth Avenue, which is used to developing new Broadway shows. Yeah. I think this is like the 30th new Broadway show that they've done, or pre-Broadway. And it's been interesting when you do a show, the different shifts and changes and cuts. I mean, sometimes shows will completely change. And one of the significant ways that they changed the show, initially the idea of the show was, all right, Griswolds, you're in New York, and New York is gonna, mess you up, right? But then they changed the concept to like, no, New York, here comes the Griswolds.
Yeah.
In New York, you think you've seen everything, but you haven't, because now you got to deal with the Griswolds. And so, of course, just like the movies and in the same spirit and the same lampoony kind of spirit, the Griswolds just come and just wreak havoc all over New York City. And it's hysterical. The kids love it. The old folks love it, and it's about family.
Yeah.
And one of the things coming out of this pandemic, we spent all this time with our family, and now we're kind of back to normal. So did we learn anything about that? Did we learn the value of sitting on the couch with our mom and our dad and watching a game show? I mean, there's value in that. And we were given the opportunity to do that in this pandemic. And so the show is just about a family and realizing that sometimes if you can get fed by the people that love you, you ultimately get empowered to go out and do whatever it is that you're trying to do better than you could have done it, But you need your people, you need that core. We want to get out and go away, but I think the secret is the more fulfilled we are by that core family we have, whether it's chosen or biological, that fills us up to then go out and do the stuff that we're trying to do.
Yeah, that is so true. So much of what we experience is because there's something that's inherent in us to be connected to other humans, right? Like there's something that's real innate in us. Like we have to have that connection. So I really love that you bring that up and that it comes up in this particular production, because oftentimes, especially now in the technology era, people think, oh, I can do this. Individualistic like mindset is really settling in for a lot of folks. So I love that this show is really bringing out that kind of collective nature that really, we're born with.
And reminding us that we're better together.
Yeah.
And everybody doesn't have the ideal family, but our chosen families, the people around us, those people that in our lives that we know love us and care about us and build us up. At the end of the day, we're better when we can come together.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of in a zany, crazy, again, National Lampoony kind of way. That's ultimately what the show is talking about. And I think that's why so many of the people that are coming are really connecting to it in an emotional way. Yeah. And then, of course, a laugh out loud, completely ridiculous, good old Clark Griswold doing the shenanigans he does.
Doing the shenanigans.
And then you got me up there with in a camo Speedo trying to get this woman to go on a date with me. So it's like a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. And already, I really appreciate what you said, because you're right. Fifth Avenue Theater has this great history of, kind of shows before Broadway, pre-Broadway, and really being like, hey, we're going to be one of those, venues that brings these shows out to the public, and it gets people engaged, right? Before it becomes like this, gosh, this huge thing, but it's like the essence of the show anyway. So you're still getting that beautiful brilliance of any show there at Fifth Avenue Theater. So I'm so glad. I mean, I got to ask you, because I love having a great thespian on my couch here.
Okay.
Me, a fellow thespian here. But tell us a bit about what got you into theater. What made you say, acting is going to be one of the ways that I bring out my skill set to the world.
So my story is completely not traditional. I went to Rice University on a football scholarship to be a lawyer. And then I started singing at this mega church. And then I stopped playing football and switched to the music school and got a vocal performance classical degree. And then I got a record deal with a Christian label, and I moved to Nashville to pursue that. But then that kind of got a little wonky. So I was like, I don't know about this. And so I ended up taking a cruise ship job that sailed me to New York City. And I did one of my first auditions for theater in New York City. I'll age myself. It was for the national tour of Ain't Misbehaving with the Pointer Sisters. And they offered me the job at the audition. And so then I thought, maybe this is something I can do. And so I ended up going to a classical acting conservatory in New York, and then moved to New York. And 3 months later, I was on Broadway. And I thought, all right, this is the path that God's unfolded for me. So I'm going to keep myself prepared. And, here we are all these years later. Here in Seattle,
this is why I love asking that question, because I want people to always watch this show here and find some level of inspiration. And for so many, they start on a path, they want to do something, and unfortunately, a lot of folks don't take that leap. Right. Of like, let me just go prepare myself for an audition. And I think there's something so special about the world of acting, whether it's on screen or off screen, on the stage, whatever, that it doesn't matter what age you are, right? Like they need roles in a wide realm
That's right.
of,
That's right.
age ranges
That's
and
right.
different ethnicities and backgrounds. And so I love hearing that you took this kind of non-traditional route. Me, I was like, oh, I love it. And I'm going to do this. And from the age of 9, I was like, I'm going to do some type of TV, film,
Right.
or
Right.
theater,
You knew it was
right?
coming.
But I love hearing this story from you because here you are now representing, on Broadway, off Broadway so well. Alan, thank you so much for being
Yeah.
here
Thanks
and for
for
being
having
in the
me.
show. Make sure you look right there. Let folks know how they can come and see you. You got a few days left,
Yeah,
right?
we're playing through Sunday. Our final show is Wednesday through Sunday at the Fifth Avenue Theater, your Fifth Avenue Theater. Folks in New York know that if a show starts at Fifth Avenue, that it is legit and it's the deal and it's coming to Broadway soon. But you can see it first right here through the rest of the week, Sunday.
Oh my goodness.
Come see us.
Come
Broadway's Griswolds Broadway Vacation.
Yeah, good times. Alan, thank you so much for being here with me on the Day with Trae. Appreciate you and all that you're bringing to Fifth Avenue Theater and to my city in Seattle. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Well, what a great